It's August 2nd, 2019. And this is a video about evolutionary social conservatism. What is evolutionary social conservatism? It's social conservatism which realizes that humans have evolved morality couched within religious contexts. Evolved morality couched within religious contexts. So, humans, being the type of animals that we are, we have meme sets of ideas, sets of concepts, ideas, values, those values are what we call culture. And one type of culture, popular, is called religion. But these are just labels for sets of ideas. You could write them down, you could make a list, but religions are unique sets of ideas in that Hi.
You can't.
Fellow hikers. Religions are unique sets of ideas that tend to have a deity of some sort, and they have usually some top person. I mean, for example, in Buddhism, who has kind of de facto deistic qualities. And then you have some sets of ideas which this deity supposedly put forward. But the most valuable way to interpret the ideas of a given religion are within a natural context, and one which isn't prejudiced against what the religion in question happens to be advocating for. Now, not every religion is equal with regard to benefit versus costs. Not every religion is equal with regard to in-group, the amplification of in-group morality versus the amplification of out-group morality. Christianity, for example, tends to amplify and expand the scope of in-group morality versus the scope of out-group morality. Whereas Islam systematically and iron-fistedly and murderously amplifies out-group morality, and has big iron walls around in-group morality, and huge penalties if you don't toe the line. Judaism has a lot of out-group morality, amplified abusively, but Islam, I think, abusively amplifies it more. And then the tenets of a given religion can tend to make people more friendly toward people in general, or not. So in any case, what we now call social conservatism is really just regular human nature. Just regular human nature. The valuing of life, the valuing of family, the valuing of children, the valuing of having children born into a normal man and wife couple, the valuing of wanting to have your children have children of their own. That's normal. That's regular. That's common activity for the human animal. But in today's postmodernism cancer-afflicted world, we have to put more specific labels on it to clarify the situation. And I add the word evolved onto it to clarify further that I'm talking about basically an advocacy for realism with regard to human nature and social conservatism from an evolutionary perspective, a secular perspective, if you will, but a secular perspective that realizes that the gods of religion are simply virtual mechanisms and mechanisms for couching normal, regular human morality. Damn valuable human morality. So, you start talking about this stuff in any leftist or an atheist group, and a heresy and excommunication trial will be conducted, and you will be booted more quickly than a Mormon bishop boots people for questioning Joseph Smith or Brigham Young. You will be booted faster and more viciously than a Mormon church court engages in their admittedly abusive activities. So, what's the most important thing humans do? Create life. What's the most powerful thing we can do on this planet? Create life. New life. Who is working to subvert? What groups and what meme sets are working to subvert that? The cultural left, the postmodernists, the Stonewall crowd, the climate hysterics, and so on. So anyway, evolutionary social conservatism, think about it. It's a valuable thing to value, even if you don't feel inclined to visit an organized church.
He went to the dark side.
Morning.
Hi. Even if you don't feel like visiting organized church, value life and find a way to make some the way 1.2 billion years of evolutionary history have intended. And racist eugenicist Margaret Sanger's birth control pill, which she bankrolled and supported, helped facilitate the development of, and her baby-killing abattoir called Planned Parenthood, which kills a great deal of black babies. A great number. Avoid those things as much as possible, especially the baby-killing abattoir of Planned Parenthood. But in any case, now that we have the technology to choose, realize that humans are not in any way prepared to choose when to stop having children. We're not prepared by evolution. We're not prepared by our nature. We're not prepared by who we are as a species to decide when, for ourselves, when exactly to stop having children. Especially if you're of regular breeding age between the ages of, say, 18 and 36 or 38. So, since we have the technology to choose, I suggest putting a great deal of weight more toward having more, especially if you're in a so-called first world country, especially if you have some concept of what E equals MC squared may mean, and so on. The Ponzi scheme of climate hysteria can cheat you out of having children, or cheat you out of having a sufficient number of children. Sufficient for yourself personally, and sufficient for your community, and sufficient for humanity as a whole. Cheat. The constant anti-human drumbeat of climate change hysteria hoodwinks chump youngsters who don't know enough to think for themselves. It cheats them out of just having children in the first place, or having enough children. Follow the money with regard to climate change hysteria. And you realize that climate hysteria is a subversion of science, a subversion of truth and facts. Subversion. It's a de facto religion unto itself, with dogma, doctrines, heresy tiles and excommunications, priests, priestesses, Ponzi scheme. And I'm not saying that as a effing conspiracy theorist. It's unless can be a de facto conspiracy, because humans engage in virtue signaling as a means of getting cash, and they can have a system of lies as a means of getting cash. Systematic lies and virtue signaling as a means of getting cash and resources and having power over others. That's climate hysteria. Okay? So reject the anti-human shaming of the cultural left. the anti-human drumbeat of the cultural left must be rejected if you're going to have a beneficial, fruitful, and meaningful life. So, all right, how's that for a summary of evolutionary social conservatism? Okay. Lake Blanche Trail.